All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are we getting RF?
Well,
No.
surprised me a bit. I put it on manual.
Not getting much, though, if we're getting any.
Hot dog. You ready for a golf game, huh? You work for a living? What do you want to do? Do interviews first, and what do you want to do? Like right here, yeah. Okay. It's all going to be out in the woods.
That's true. All right, Joe, let's talk first of all. How did you come up with an idea for a game like this?
Well, Noel, who's one of the members of our committee, and I was sitting around one day talking about survival, about the concept of survival. And as I told you before, I live in the woods up in New Hampshire. I spend a lot of time in the woods. Hayes is a stockbroker, spends all of his time on Wall Street. So we were arguing about survival in the woods, and I was saying that I was probably a little bit better at it than he was since I lived in the woods. And he was saying, no, he didn't agree with that you can take the instincts from one environment that allow you to survive there and transplant them to another one. So we sort of extrapolated from that idea and began to wonder what it would be like if you took all kinds of different people in different walks of life who were survivors, who like to think of themselves as aggressive and successful and so forth, and let each of them test out the way he survived and the things that made him successful in a similar context. And so we came up with this game as a way of doing it, and we tried to even it out so that nobody had an unfair advantage over anybody else.
In the initial confrontation between you and Hayes, who came out better?
Well, it's hard to say because there were really 12 guys, and I'd say we did about the same, though. So the point's still moot.
All right, Sports Illustrated's out with a big article about it.
Yeah.
Since then, you've been enormously successful in marketing the survival game itself. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. We didn't really mean to go into business, but after the article came out, and there was another article in Outside magazine, too, and after the two articles came out, we had so much interest. We had so many letters and phone calls and so forth from people wanting to play the game that we decided if they were going to play it, we'd have to put it together. So we went to the manufacturer and we put together this kit that a person can order from us that allows them to play the game. It's got anything in it that you need.
Okay, the kit itself, the demand for it, has it been a pretty good cross-section of people, weirdos, straight folks, or what?
Well, yeah, it's been a real cross-section. I mean, we've gotten letters from doctors, from lawyers, from one guy that owns a steamship company in New York. I mean, from sort of professional people. We've also gotten some letters from some people that you might classify as being a little bit strange, but we're trying not to pass judgment on that. I mean, you know, if they want to play, that's their business. So we're selling the kits. And as I told you earlier, we're also trying to set up a competitive organization, one for each state. And what we hope to do is to have state finals and then divisional finals, regional finals, and finally a national championship every year that the 12 top people in the country go to. And we've got a pretty good indication at this point we'll have a national sponsor and national TV coverage. So, you know, it's funny, but I mean, the thing just sort of exploded overnight. And, you know, we're having a good time with it, though. It's a lot of fun to play. That's the main thing. And anybody can play it. I mean, old or young, women, men, anybody can have a good time with it.
Well, that's what it's all about. It goes back to childhood game,
That's
doesn't it?
exactly right. You know, I mean, there's a lot of kid and everybody I know that I like. Let's put it that way. You know, I mean, I think it's sort of silly to deny that. We all like to play. And this is a great sport to play, just to get out in the woods and have a good time. And it's so exciting. I mean, the game itself is it's such a rush.
Yeah.
It's really thrilling. You know it's a game, but you get out there and you hear people sneaking around and your hands start to sweat. And but it really, I mean, it's a wonderful game.
Okay. Now I want to get to. All right, tell me how I would go about getting the game if I wanted it.
Well, there are actually two ways here in Birmingham. You can write us directly, and our address is the National Survival Game, Box 364, New London, New Hampshire, and the zip is 03257. You can do that, or we've just set up a relationship with Robert's Sporting Good here in town, and somebody can go down there, look at the kit, try out the gun, and get the order forms from Roberts and send them directly to us.
Good. All right, you too. All right, Hayes, what makes you want to get out and play a game like this? It really is just an extension of the childhood game we all played.
Yes, it is, Tom, but we've, in the conception of this game originally, the whole idea of it started with the rush, the feel that you get being out in the woods, hunting and being hunted, and it is, I would say, just one word, or more than one word, but one phrase that really makes the game interesting to me is the feeling, the sensation you get. It's really not like playing golf, and it's not like playing tennis, and we all have done that. It's a different experience, and it's you really, everything gets very acute when you're playing the game, and it's a real kick, I guess, is the best way to express it, and I mean in the nicest way.
And it's not like being a stockbroker by any means, too. Is it an escape for you, in other words?
No. In fact, my business is trading. I trade rather than be a broker, and I'm investing all the time, and it involves risk taking. That's essentially what it's about, and in my business, and so I consider this more an extension in a way, and they both actually sort of fit into each other. And in order to win this game, you do have to take risks. There are a lot of strategies, different strategies that people have, and the strategy we know does not work is to go in the woods and hole up and wait for everybody else to get put out. That is a riskless strategy, and in the games that we have played, it usually won't be a winning strategy.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm.
It's rolling.
All right. Why do you want to get involved in something like this?
And why do I want to play the game itself?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
First of all, I think that it incorporates a whole lot of skills that come through from other sports. I've always played adrenalizing sports. I've raced sports cars. I've been a downhill ski racer, and I don't think I've ever been as pumped up with adrenaline as I have during a game like this.
What is the feeling you get when you're out there in the woods and you know that somebody's hunting for you just like you're hunting for them?
How would I express the feeling?
Yeah.
It's a real thinking sport at that point. If you know that someone's really close to you, you have to figure a way out or a way to get them, or just stay really low. But no matter what, it's a thinking sport here.
Okay. That's good. That's what I want.
How do you want me to come in? Yeah, you just come. You want? Okay. All right, go. All right. All right, go ahead. Yeah. For about 4 seconds and then go. That's going to be last. All right, go ahead.
What do you want Bob to do?
No, he just stays right there. He knows
Okay.
he's out there. All right. Okay. And go on like you were going.
Right now?
Yeah. That's good. You rolling?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. That's good. You know, watching him and then step. All right.
Yeah.
Get behind that good because I'm probably going to look at least in that direction at one time.
Well, it's going to be kind of...
All right, what'd you say? What do you want? Hey.
All right, anytime you're ready.
Dead gummit. Turn. Nice shot.
You all right?
Yeah. That's, I don't know about yelling, but it maybe sounds like.
That was
Is
good.
that all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Needed support, and that's what the guys in California need. That's what we all need is support, and I don't think we're asking too much.
Just to refresh the people here, what are you asking for? What do you want?
We want the VA hospitals and the VA administration inspected by a non-governmental group. In other words, we don't want the government to have nothing to do with it. We don't feel like we're getting the medical treatment that we need, and of course, I noticed in the paper this morning that they're finally coming through with something about the Agent Orange, which is great. We've needed this, and they're just now, it's been 13 years, and it's just now they're beginning to accept some type of responsibility for that, which is great. But they've still said nothing about the VA hospitals or the way that we've been treated.
Okay. All right. Well, after you talk with Tom Ashby again, did he? No, but they had a meeting. You told me something last time we talked. They had a meeting.
The meeting's tonight.
Oh, was it tonight?
Tonight.
This is the Wednesday night. Okay.
Right, Wednesday night.
All right. What is? That's going to be dealing with the Agent Orange?
With Agent Orange, right. They're going to have some men there that know that their health checks are from Agent Orange. There's going to be an Agent Orange physician there that's from the VA hospital.
Are you going to try to get that?
I'm going to try to make it.
Now, if you get a leave of absence from work, will you still get paid at all, or not?
And I pay child support every week. I know the other guys ain't working either, so I guess they got problems just like I do.
But it's a little bit easier when you have a group.
It's a lot easier, I believe. You know, I got a friend there to converse with that's got the same problems I've got as far as not working. And we're standing up for the same thing. And, you know, just somebody to communicate with helps. A shoulder to lean on, which I don't got down here.
Are these your kids over here? Or?
Those are two of my girls right there.
You're just going to just pick a little bit whatever you do. You just want to sit there and strum. That's fine. That's fine.
I'll do because you need a half course.
drink a lot of water. The health department has some very good tips available through their education program about how people can beat the heat.
Does it boil down to kind of a family thing also? I know many of these elderly people don't have anyone living with them. Is it something that families could get involved with?
Certainly they could. People can take their family members into their home, can watch after them, make sure that they're doing things that can help them with the heat. I think that families can take a big part in helping these people.
This meeting today seems to signal that, you don't want to be caught off guard this summer. Was there a feeling of just almost surprise last summer that it got as bad as it did?
Oh, I think so, very definitely. We were really shocked with the temperature because I think this is a type of disaster that we don't think about that often. And we were certainly surprised by what happened.
And this year it's going to be different, hopefully.
Hopefully it will be. I think that once we identified the program, the problems, that things really improved, and we did have some programs that benefited people. But we want to do better this year.
Okay, thanks a lot. Ray? This may be redundant from something you have already answered, but what will be the changes from the way your department operates this summer as last summer? What was learned in the course of this crisis, I guess?
Well, I think all the agencies involved here will know exactly what their role is going to be this year. Last year, we set up this shelter that was in the Elder Garden program in the YWCA, not really expecting a big turnout because of the experience in Texas and the other states that had offered shelters, and we were overwhelmed the first day with 25 people. It was pretty overwhelming when you were just going into it. So preparation in terms of, as I said, we had cots, but we found that we needed hospital beds for these quite elderly, frail individuals, and we'll be prepared for that this year, God forbid, and if we should need a shelter.
What is an example of the type of person that is affected generally? I know you deal with the elderly. Are they the most susceptible to heat?
Well, of course, that's what we saw last year because the people we're working with are elderly, and the older individuals, some heart trouble, the ones with pacemakers or respiratory problems, were the ones that were coming into the shelter, although we had a number of individuals who were not elderly, who came in from the various housing authority projects.
Okay. Was there a need for more medical services at your shelter last year?
Yes, I think we were all surprised at the need, the demand. There were people that were on medications that hadn't made arrangements to get those medications. We had caseworkers running out to the different pharmacies to get medicine for the people with epilepsy and as I said, individuals who had pacemakers and who had various heart problems and needed the medication. There was a need for a lot of special medical care.
Were the people waiting too late to come to the shelter, or was it just the fact that the whole thing caught everyone by surprise?
I think the whole thing slipped up. As I remember, it was over a long weekend, and it got hot that weekend, and we came in on a Monday morning and were prepared. I have the disaster plan in the agency in cooperation with the Department of Pensions and Security. We already had an agreement that said what staff would be doing what and arrangements for the provision of meals, so that was all ready to go. And it still slipped up on you. Monday morning declared a disaster, and Monday night you've got 25 people that you're feeding and really operating a little mini, I wouldn't say hospital, but it bordered on that.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Your name, last name is spelled B.